Hello, and welcome to Small Business Success Stories at SCORE Houston. This is where we bring insights, experiences, and the journey of successful small business entrepreneurs. SCORE mentors volunteer their time to guide small businesses. SCORE is America's largest network of volunteer business mentors supported by the U.S. Small Business Administration. Here in Houston, we provide free confidential mentoring and education to help entrepreneurs start, grow, and succeed. Now, let's dive into today's small business success story. Welcome. Today's DS is proof that starting small does not mean thinking small. Nicole York is the founder of Desert Rose Beauty and Wellness in Lake Jackson, Texas, a business she launched in a single room in 2019 and grew into a thriving full-service studio by 2022. A licensed esthetician with over 15 years in the industry, Nicole has built her business on a deeply personal mission and a holistic approach to beauty and wellness. She is the recipient of the Houston District Rural Business Owner of the Year Award, and her story is one of preparation, perseverance, and purposeful growth. Nicole, welcome to the show. We're going to talk about SCORE. I am Dr. Jeff Ricken, a certified SCORE mentor, and SCORE is available to those of you who are starting or expanding a business. Nicole, tell us a little bit about your.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Golly. So, my story starts when I was 16 going on 17. Well, actually, I guess I could say it starts even earlier than that because I started dealing with acne when I was 12. And it was that kind of acne that was cystic and it was all over my face. It hurt. It was the kind of acne you can't even hide with makeup. In fact, I remember kids would make fun of me for wearing so much makeup, and they were like, "I can just touch your face, and your makeup just comes off." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is awful."
I
That was
can
high school,
imagine.
actually. It was awful, but I do remember before high school, my grandmother actually started taking me to see an esthetician, and that's kind of where my skincare journey began. And I wanna say I think it was right when I started getting acne around 12. I started seeing an esthetician very, very young, and I remember in middle school, I started getting chemical peels of all things, like this young, I don't know, I was like 13 maybe when I started getting chemical peels, and I would go to school with my face sloughing off. It was quite
Oh, dear.
interesting. But man, yeah, my journey started when I was that young, and I had no idea this was going to be the path that I was going to take, actually. But they say that you help people with the wounds that you've personally overcome, and you have a voice in that, and because you've overcome something, you're able to help people with that. But it took me a really long time to realize that. However, started seeing an esthetician when I was young, and then got to high school, and I was looking for my first job. I had my car, but I had to pay for gas. I wasn't going to be able to get anywhere if I didn't have the money to fuel it up. And so there was actually, at the time, I worked on the school newspaper, and we had to go around town and find different businesses to, have an ad in our paper. And one of the places that I
Oh,
had gone to was Ginger Salon and Spa. And I kind of already knew the ladies a little bit from that, but I remember walking in asking about the ad for the newspaper. And then I was like, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" And sure enough, they hired me. They were like, "Yeah, we could use a receptionist." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
you
I,
got your first job.
I did. I got my first job. I went there after school, I think from like 4 to 6 every day after school. And I was 16 going on 17 at the time. I was going on 17 that month, I believe. But yeah, I started there, and I stayed there through high school, and then, graduated high school, and I was like, I want to go off and, do all the things. And so I decided to move. I actually moved up to a College Station area, and, I thought that's kind of the direction I wanted to go. But none of my friends moved. All of my friends stayed down here. And of course, my family was down here where I'm at, which is, south of Houston. And I found myself driving back every single weekend. And finally, I was like, you know what? I was like, this is not for me. I'm going to come back home and I'll, do community college there. And then I'll go to University of Houston. That was my plan. And came back down here, and I went back to my same position as a receptionist at Ginger's. And I truly, I loved it so much. We had estheticians, we had massage therapists, we had hairstylists, and I just learned all the ins and outs of all the things. And then I eventually became a manager there while I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And let me tell you, I changed my major maybe like 5 times, possibly. I think I changed it so much they told me I couldn't change it anymore.
Yeah, I think
um,
there's a limit, isn't
there
there?
is, yeah, yeah. I think I wanted to be a teacher, then I wanted to be a nurse, and then I wanted to be a vet tech, and then my last degree that I was actually working on was public relations and marketing. That's what I was working on. I was going to U of H. And funny enough, I was still working at Ginger's, and I was introduced to SCORE and the SBA down here through them. And I actually got to work with somebody to help build the spa's website and help with marketing. And I got to go to, some of the free courses that they offered. And it was really cool because I got to be immersed in all of this information, all this business information. And it was totally free of charge for us. And it was just an incredible resource.
So
That's how
you
I
went
got
on the
introduced.
website, score.org,
Hmm.
and you found a
Yeah.
proper specialist who could help you for free of
Hmm.
charge. So that was a good
Yeah.
resource
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Yes. And now I tell everybody about it because I mean, it's just an incredible resource. There's so much. I mean, they help with like legal things and all the things from starting from the ground up, they help with. But at the time, I think we were getting help for like our website and things like that, and maybe like our client journey. And I think that's what we were getting help with at the time. And so that's kind of how I was introduced to it. And years kept kind of going by. And I don't think it was till maybe I was like 25, maybe, that I had my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. He was like, you should become an esthetician, because you have been through all of this with your skin and you're already in the industry. And what's funny is that my whole family told me I should be an esthetician my whole life, of course. But I don't listen to them. I listen to
No,
the
who listens to their
boyfriend. I
parents? Yeah.
mean, come on. Come on. So,
How did you
you
handle
know,
funding? Was SCORE people helpful for getting you funding? Because you must have had school debt.
so I'm trying to think back. I think at that time, I think I got some loans for school. I also won a scholarship for my esthetician funding. Funny enough, I think I had to write some sort of paper, I believe, for this scholarship through my aesthetics school, and I won a scholarship through them. And I believe my story was, just about what I'm telling you now about my acne and how it started and where I was. And so I was very grateful for that. I actually hadn't gotten back with SCORE quite yet. And, I went through school, and whenever I graduated is whenever I met with them again, because I already had the connections. And actually, Jennifer Finney is my main connection. She's the one that actually helped with marketing. And now I believe she's the one of the directors down here at the Brazos Sport College. And I reached out to her, and I was like, I have been with this company for so long, and they've helped me so much along the way, and I have so much appreciation for them. But I've also been here for so long, and I kind of want to go out on my own and kind of make my own mark in the world. And that truly is how it feels as an entrepreneur. You're like, I want to make my mark in the world,
Yeah.
in the community. It feels like this just all encompassing thing. So I had reached out to her, and she kind of helped me get my business plan going, she helped point me in the right direction for who to reach out to when it came to if I needed, funding for my business. However, at that time it was just me by myself. I went and rented a room down here in my area. So I was self-funded at first because I just had my small little room. And that was in September of 2019 is whenever I opened up my own space. And then of course COVID hit in 2020.
Been a challenge.
It was interesting because I work on the face, And
Mm.
so it was like, how do I pivot from here? Because I was doing facials. I can't give a facial while they have a mask on. And so, funny enough, after we came back from the shutdown, people wanted their eyebrows and their eyelashes done. And I
Oh,
was like, okay, we can work
You-
with this.
We
We
can
can
work with
work with
this, and
this.
you're a
Yeah.
specialist now.
Yeah, so we pivoted. We
You
pivoted.
pivoted,
I
adapted, yeah.
became yeah, I became a brow specialist, and I didn't do lash extensions, but I did like the lash lifting. It's like that little perm for lashes. So I did that, and that is how I built up my clientele. I had a wait list of over 2 months, and it was just incredible how that I mean, when things happen, when challenges happen, it's so important to find it as a new opportunity to pivot and figure something out because there are ways around challenges. It's just trying to figure out, what is that? And lo and behold, it was brows and lashes. So we
Well,
got
what do you think separated you from competition? I mean, a lot of estheticians are out there, and why in your area did you set yourself apart in a one room
yeah.
place? How did
You
you
know
do
it's
it?
you
What
know
was
what's
your
funny too
secret
is
sauce?
yeah. I what's funny too is I was inside of a building, so I didn't have like a sign outside of my door or
Exposure,
outside.
yeah.
I didn't have any exposure whatsoever. So I utilized social media. I at the time I just took a lot of before and afters of all of my work. And that's how I built my business at the time.
How did you
And I
post your work? Was it on the web or in front of
yeah,
you? Yeah.
so it was on Instagram and Facebook, I think was my main avenue of posting at the time. And those before and afters at the time really, really worked for me. And plus everybody at that point was stir crazy. They wanted to get out of the house. They wanted to feel beautiful again. They wanted to feel like themselves again. And not only is it about, the services, but I think it's about the feeling that you give people.
Yeah.
People want to come back to somebody that makes them feel seen and makes them feel like they matter. And, I also don't do rushed services. I like to spend time with my clients. And I think that also helps being able to have, more premium prices as well, because it's truly more of an experience. And
So you
the vibe,
weren't undercutting your
mm-hmm,
competition by fee. You were giving
mm-mm,
them better value for a better service of a higher quality. And it wasn't the, mass marketing. You weren't putting
mm-hmm.
up billboards. You were just
No,
making one-on-one connection, winning
absolutely.
friends and influencing people by
Yeah.
being a person. Yeah.
And
A
then,
lot of
word
people
of
think you
mouth.
got to put ads up all over the place, and that's
No,
going to
no.
funnel them to you. No, no. Apparently, it's the
Mm-hmm.
personality. I hear it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about how you make people feel because then whenever they feel that connection with you, they're going to go tell their friends and family. So, I mean, social media definitely helped at that time, but a lot of it was word of mouth. I mean, anytime that somebody posted, where can I get my eyebrows done? It was Desert Rose, Nicole at Desert Rose. And I was just so thankful at that time. Even my husband was like, babe, every time that I see somebody looking for eyebrows, I see your name pop up. And I'm like, I know, isn't it so cool?
How exciting. So word of mouth really did it. You didn't have to pay for it either. It was just
No, it was all
kindness
organic.
to
Yep,
others,
all
doing
organic
what you
growth.
said you were going to do.
Yep,
Yeah.
I did not pay for a single thing whenever I was growing my business.
Yeah. I have so many
Yeah,
people I
mm-mm,
talk to at SCORE, and, clients who will say, I got to pay for this. I got to PR this. No, it's free if it's credible. If you just be nice to
exactly,
people, pay
exactly.
attention, listen
Just
to
be
them,
nice.
show up and listen. That's
Yeah,
my motto.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and just be there for them because even at that time, people just wanted somebody to talk to too. It
So
was
how
just
has your
such.
life changed as a result of going from receptionist to where you are
Hmm.
now? Do you feel
Yeah,
owning a business is better than being an employee on a paycheck?
I mean. I would say that being a business owner comes so much responsibility. It also helps you learn who you are as a person so much quicker than I think working for somebody else does because it puts you almost in like it's like you're under steam and pressure and you sometimes you have to figure things out on the fly and sometimes unfortunately you have to have really crappy situations with your employees. And in September of what was it 2022 is when I decided to open up my team location, and now I have a team of girls that are also estheticians. And I have learned a lot about myself as a human being, being, a manager of other people. I think too, using SCORE as an asset and helping you set up your company correctly from the very beginning and not trying to do it on your own, not trying to chat GPT it, not trying to Google, but actually working with somebody who knows what they're doing. really helps you set your foundation up correctly so you can actually make good money as a business owner. Because there are so many people that your entire, income that you're bringing in ends up going out. And a lot of business owners can't even pay themselves for a very long time. So
Exactly.
having a mentor really helps you set that foundation up so that you
Sure.
can pay yourself from the beginning. You can be profitable from the beginning if you set things up
Exactly.
properly, if you reach out to the right people and the right resources, which are readily available to us. I mean, they're right there.
Sure.
Just,
Some people
yeah.
just borrow too much money, and I think they get so deep in debt because I think they need hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can do a lot of bootstrapping where you just kind of
Yes,
self-fund and do it on the cheap. And at
exactly.
SCORE, we teach you to do that so your profits show up earlier and you can stay in business. And we
Yes, yes.
business plans are on our website. You just fill in the blanks. We have
Yeah,
templates, contracts,
absolutely.
webinars on how
Absolutely.
to get loans, how to get SBA funding. Yeah, so
Hmm.
you can save you a lot of headaches and
Absolutely. And you're not a,
incorporate. We can do that.
Yeah, and you're not alone in the process because being an
Nah,
entrepreneur can truly feel so lonely sometimes because you're the only person that has that true passion and vision for your company, but not necessarily when you have SCORE because they're there for you and
sure.
believe in you and are there with you throughout the whole process. So having that to kind of fall back on doesn't make it seem as scary, you know?
Most of
And
the people who are starting business in America now are women, women,
really,
women.
that's
I
incredible.
think out of many many dozens of people I work with, I think there's one guy.
Hmm.
I'm dealing with women. They may be married, they may have dozens of children and other obligations, but I'm dealing with women, 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're
Hmm.
ready to start a business. Not the men so much. They go for the job,
Yeah.
but it's
Isn't that
women,
interesting?
minorities, women.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that.
Capitalism. Yeah, it's America.
Yeah, that's
But the
amazing.
women have come into their own. They need the money, they need the dream, and
Mhm.
sometimes the men just want the paycheck. So I'm
Yeah,
finding
yeah,
very few men. Yeah,
yeah, that's
interesting.
so interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. And, something that through working with SCORE, I had the opportunity to get nominated for the Rural Business Owner of the Year by Jennifer, and I won. And I was just absolutely floored whenever I got the call that I won because I was like, really? Me? Little old me?
Didn't hurt at all, did it? It's nice
Yeah,
to get a
little
pat
old
on the
me.
back.
Absolutely. It was just so much gratitude and because being an entrepreneur is hard. It truly is hard. And like I said, it's like a pressure cooker when you have a team, especially because you're put in some situations where you're like, I don't know where to go from here. Sometimes you just kind of have to listen to your gut feeling. And I've unfortunately, as any business owner has to let people go that, maybe are not on the same wavelengths as what your vision is. And I do hold my team to very high standards because it truly is an experience that we're giving. And being a nice person goes such a long way. And there's just certain qualities that, I look for in somebody. And whenever I hire people at this point, I'm like, okay, can we hold a conversation? Because if we can't hold a conversation, then we're just not meant for each other. And that's fine. That's totally fine. We just don't vibe, and that's okay. But now that's part of, I don't just hire off of, what can you do, but who are you?
That's
And
your secret sauce.
yeah.
Connection and no
Hmm.
emotional connection.
Absolutely.
People
Absolutely.
like
And
that.
our clients feel it. We just received this beautiful testimony the other day from a client that said that we offer so much more than just a service. It truly is a place where you feel seen right when you walk in. And that just, oh, it hit my heart because that's what I've built my entire company off of is just making people feel worthy and seen and like they matter. And when they walk in, we're not going to ignore them. We say hi immediately and, we just pay attention to people. That's all they
Plus,
want. Most people just,
customer retention. Yeah,
yeah,
moderating those
yeah,
customers. Yeah, but you seem to
exactly, exactly.
have the talent for it. Tell me about
Thank you.
your life today. I understand you're involved in charity and community service,
Hmm.
and you basically write your own paychecks. So you've
Yeah.
kind of found your dream, and
Hmm.
you only have one person to blame for any slump in the business. Can't blame it on anybody else. It's not the boss's fault.
Yeah.
but but it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I
So
truly do believe that everything starts with me, and it does take a lot of self-reflection to kind of come back to yourself and say, what could I have done differently here? But, I really love where we're at today. And I know that it truly is about, human connection. And that really, really goes a long way. And just, I think, in any industry, because if you feel like you've been seen, then that just, it resonates with the heart. So it goes such a long way. And I'm really excited to continue seeing, where we're going. I mean, what we're in 2026, we've been open technically since 2019 is whenever I, created Desert Rose. And I'm just excited to continue seeing where it goes. I will say, of course, there's always times that you're going to have to pivot, but that's with any business.
adapt
Just,
to the next minefield as it comes along. What
yes,
would be your
exactly.
advice to young men and women who are thinking about, saying goodbye to this job and
Mhm.
starting their own dream, and rather than building somebody else's dream? What would be
Mm,
single advice to them?
I think staying authentic to yourself matters a lot because if you're going off of somebody else's vision, people are going to feel that. If you're going off of something else that someone's telling you but it doesn't feel right with you, people are going to feel that inauthenticity. Like people, especially nowadays, want an authentic human connection. And if your business is not built off of what you truly are visioning and what's authentic to you, it's not going to get very far. You're going to see a lot more hardship because you're working against what you naturally want to do. So, not being scared to actually pursue your vision and, take mentorships are wonderful because they help you in so many ways and you're not alone, but also remembering that your vision matters and your authenticity is what really brings that business to life and people see it. Like they
Yeah,
want an authentic person.
you could have been in many different fields as you majored in many different half a dozen
Mhm.
things, but you
Yeah.
found your passion kept
Mhm.
drawing you back. It wasn't just vision, it was a passion. That was
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
really felt comfortable with. So hopefully you won't just find another job, a job for somebody else. You'll just find
Mhm.
your own business that actually is kind of your side gig. It's what you really enjoy.
Yeah,
Nicole, thank you
absolutely,
so
and
much for having the time spent with us. We've really enjoyed it.
yeah, thank you so much for having me, this was fun.
All right.
And
So
I
this is Nicole York with Desert Rose. Go ahead. You wanted to say something. I
Oh,
didn't.
I was just gonna say, I hope that, this resonates with somebody, and I hope that it allows somebody to pursue their dreams and know that it's possible. So I just
Oh,
thank
there
you
are
so much
hundreds
for
of
having me.
people. There are hundreds of people looking for something, and hopefully you found the secret sauce to
Yeah.
find your own. It's only one ride on the merry-go-round when it comes to
Yeah.
life. And hopefully,
Hmm.
we all find, that brass ring that brings us happiness. So thank you
Exactly.
again for your time. So on
Thank
behalf of
you.
SCORE, Nicole, thank you and good luck with Desert Star.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Small Business Success Stories at SCORE Houston. If you are an entrepreneur or small business owner, we'd love to support your journey. You can reach us at 713-487-6565 or visit us at 8701 South Gessner, Suite 1200, Houston, Texas 77074. Our office is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., except for federal holidays, and walk-ins are always welcome. To learn more, request free mentoring, or register for our workshops, visit us online at www.score.org/Houston. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, at SCORE, we're here to help you thrive.